I've come here to work hard, and I was going to just work hard to the very end and not give up, because there's always the option to give up and jog it in or DNF, but I don't like doing that. And when I start a race, I want to get to the finish having given everything I had on that day.
Hi Jasper, thanks for talking to URTV. Obviously, as someone that you've coached, I know you well, but for those that don't know you, would you mind introducing yourself, where you're from, and what do you do in the running world?
So my name is Jasper McDowell. I am a Swiss and British runner. I live in Geneva currently, and I'm a running coach and athlete. So I have a personal best of 2:19 in the marathon, and I coach for a living. So that's about it.
So a professional in the running game. You travelled from Geneva. How was the trip over here?
Quite hectic, to be honest. So I travelled here on Friday evening, and originally I was meant to fly to Lisbon and then Lisbon to Seville. There was a layover, but the first flight was delayed by about 2 hours.
Oh no.
And by the time we landed, well, actually, the plane almost didn't land because of the storm that was in Lisbon. So we were delayed landing. When we eventually landed, found out that the next flight was cancelled to Seville.
Nightmare.
So the company had to put everyone in a hotel overnight. But we landed very late. It was sort of 11 p.m. And by the time we found out we had a hotel for the night, it was after midnight. And we got to the hotel at 1 a.m. We were put on the next flight in the following morning at 8 a.m. So we had to leave the hotel at 5 a.m. to go catch the flight to Seville. So got about 3 hours sleep on Friday night, which is the most important night before a race.
Not the kind of prep you want for a marathon.
Not at all. So yeah, managed to get into Seville on Saturday morning around, I think it was 11 a.m. So got to the hotel, was able to have a quick nap. And then luckily, Marco, who was organising the whole trip for us, collected our bibs. So I didn't have to go to the expo, so just stayed in the hotel, had all the bibs sorted. So then I was here. So that was the most important part, was just to get here, got my bib. So that was all sorted, and then just tried to get a decent night's sleep last night, but obviously the night before a race, you got the pre-race nerves, so I did struggle to fall asleep, so I had sort of 2 short nights of sleep. I still made it to the start line and ran my second best time, so I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, man, it's pretty normal the night before to struggle to get to sleep. I was the same last night, but you did get here. I'm glad you did. You ran Seville Marathon, so congratulations on finishing the marathon. How did you get on today, and how do you feel after the race?
So as I said, I ran my second fastest time. It was another 2:19, but I was 37 seconds slower than my PB. And my goal going into this race was to get a PB. But still, having run another sub 2:20, I'm really happy with that. And I went out at 2:15 pace, trying to get a pretty big PB, about 4 or 5 minutes. It didn't pay off this time. I even had a pacer who came all the way from Kenya to help me. Who was going to originally pace me to at least halfway, but possibly to 30k. He dropped out at 25k, and at that point I was all alone and I had to run the last 17k alone. But I was already struggling from even before halfway. Honestly, about 15k in, I was already feeling pretty rough, and managed to hold on for another 10k with the pacer. But as soon as he dropped out, I slowed down a bit. I could tell I was just breathing too heavily. It was just too hard of an effort that I couldn't sustain for the whole race. So I had to slow down, but still managed to scrape another sub 2:20 by 10 seconds. So really happy that I held on and got that time. So
yeah. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that it's an amazing and incredibly fast time. That's obvious. But as any marathon runner knows, when they've targeted a time and they don't get it, of course, can feel a little bit disappointed. But you also come across as very sort of pragmatic about it. Was there anything you learned though from today's race that you could take forward into future races?
So I think what I've learned is that I should probably go off a bit slower in the first half. I think I always underestimate um, how when you pace a race evenly, or even with the intention of negative splitting, you can actually um, do a lot better than if you don't want to go out too fast. That's, I think, a mistake that a lot of runners make, including myself, even though I've run so many marathons. So considering the weather conditions were perfect, but I think with my training over the past few weeks hasn't been specific to run a 2:15. Nothing really showed I was in that kind of shape, but I still wanted to try it. And realistically, I probably should have just aimed for a 2:18 and just snuck a small PB. And I'm sure if I'd gone out slower on 2:18 pace, I could have held that the whole way. But I just wanted to get the big PB and feel the glory of that. Didn't pay off this time. So yeah, next time if I'm in this kind of situation where I know I'm clearly not in that kind of shape, I should just go off a bit more conservative, and I'll have a much better experience in the race.
I think what's interesting is, despite you being so much faster than the rest of us, it sounds like a lot of the sort of best practices and the things you could do would actually apply to anyone sort of at any speed. Would that be the case?
Oh, definitely. Like, we're all doing the same sport, and we all make the same mistakes, including myself. I think most people go off too fast in marathons anyway, and then pay the price in the second half, even at my level. So it's as a coach, I always say, do what I say, not what I do. It's hard, really hard to really do things properly yourself. And I know how tempting it is to go out a bit faster because you feel good, you've tapered, you've got the pre-race nerves, well, not nerves, but excitement that just can help you run a bit faster. But you will always pay for it if you go out too fast, and that clearly happened for me today.
I mean, I know personally what a great coach you are. I've definitely benefited from that. But it's always different then when you're coaching yourself, right? Different rules apply, can always take more risks. But to still hang on to get sub 220, that couldn't have been easy when you'd already decided that, okay, 215 wouldn't happen for you today. So what did you do to kind of hang on in there? Do you have a mantra that you would sort of typically tell yourself, or how did you hang on to that to really still finish under 220 today?
So I like to tell myself that I can do hard things, and a lot of the time in training, I do try and push myself pretty hard, and I know what it feels like to really finish a session or a race when you've completely emptied the tank. And even though today I was struggling to hold a slower pace in the second half, it still felt just as hard as any other race. So I've just, from past race experience, I know that I can push and dig really deep when it matters, and when I have a goal that's, even though the goal shifted to sub 220, I was still hanging on to that, and I just kept on telling myself that I can do hard things, and I've come here to work hard, and so I was going to just work hard to the very end and not give up, because there's always the option to give up and jog it in or DNF, but I don't like doing that. And when I start a race, I want to get to the finish having given everything I had on that day, regardless of the time at the end. And that's what I did today. I just gave everything I had and made it to the finish, and it paid off because I still got sub 220.
Yeah, no, it's amazing and inspirational that you have that attitude. And what do you actually find harder, the marathon itself, like a day like today, or the training block to get you to the marathon?
I feel like if you've done a great training block and you've really pushed yourself hard, and you've done good sessions that can give you confidence that you can run a time in the marathon, I think the training block is harder. I feel like when you haven't done necessarily the sessions or the training that indicates what time you want to run, and then you try and run that time, then the marathon is going to be harder because you're pushing way beyond what you're capable of. But I think when everything goes well and you execute your race perfectly to plan, then the training is the harder part, and then the race should just feel like the victory lap, and you should be confident that you can do that time, and if you actually stick to the plan, then the race itself is pretty easy compared to the training.
Yeah. Well, to put the training into perspective, for someone at your level, what does training look like? Like for your peak weeks, what would your volume be in terms of total kilometers?
Yeah, so I like to run quite a lot. I'm a big volume guy, and I typically run between 200 and 250 kilometers a week. So leading up to this marathon, I peaked at 320 kilometers, which was not a usual, typical week for me. This was a bit of an exception. I don't know how I ended up running that far, but I just kind of happened with the. I do a lot of running with people I coach a lot of the time, and that just added up over the week, and then do my own sessions, and just saw that I was actually, by the end of the week I was going to hit 200 miles, and I've done it a few times, like the odd week here and there, but yeah, that was an exception definitely, and wasn't planned, but just happened, and
Yeah.
so but no, normally I'm around, I'd say 220, 230. That's kind of my typical volume for a week.
I mean, crazy volume, very, very impressive. But speaking of crazy, I know that there's a lot of runners out there. They like to do these challenges and go on these sort of run streaks, how many days in a row they can run. And there's some impressive stuff out there. But I know you've got quite an impressive running streak going along. So why don't you say a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I decided I was going to start a run streak in 2016.
Yeah.
Wanted to try and run for a year, see if I could do that. And I got about 9 months in, and at that point I just forgot about the streak, and just running was such a daily habit of mine that I just kept on going and went well beyond a year, and that streak's still going today. So I'm almost 10 years in now. So yeah, I don't know what day I'm on, but honestly, I just forget about it. It's just running. It's
like
part of my
brushing your
day.
teeth.
Exactly, yeah.
But what I have to ask though is, because we all get a little bit sick sometimes, or sort of things come up, niggles. It sounds like you've stayed clear of, let's say, full-on injuries during that time. But how do you still then continue that streak if you're a little bit unwell, or you have any niggles? Do you do something to adapt?
So, well, the minimum I'll do in a day is run 1 mile. That's just yeah. Sometimes that's all I do in a day, and that's pretty much a rest day. And then yeah, I have fallen sick and had little niggles during the past 9 years, but there's some days where that's all I do. I'll just jog a mile, 10 minutes, and then that's me done for the day. And I can easily squeeze that in the day, even if I'm feeling a bit unwell or I've got a busy day. It's just something I can easily fit in. So I do push through the illnesses and niggles, but I make sure to listen to my body, and I won't go off and run a super long run or a hard session if I'm feeling ill. I'll just do the bare minimum and take another day off the streak. But,
good stuff.
That's how I deal with it.
Good stuff. So Sevilla, it's your second sub 220. Unbelievable performance, as I said. What's next for Jasper?
Originally my plan for this year was to try and break the 30 minutes in the 10K. So I wanted to set up several races starting in January to give myself several attempts at breaking 30 minutes. And then the opportunity to run Sevilla popped up. I couldn't say no to that. So wanted to try run another marathon. And so this was in between sort of two 10K races that I'm doing. So I'm going to go back to a 10K race now in 2 weeks for my next sub 30 attempt. So hopefully I'll recover from this, and just try and maintain a bit of running. But I need to do. There's nothing much I can do between now and then to gain any fitness. So I'm just going to recover and try and get to the start line of the next race in 2 weeks, pretty fresh.
What is the 10K race?
So it's a Payerne 10K in Switzerland. It's probably the fastest 10K in Switzerland. It's where all the fastest runners go to run a quick time. It's dead flat, 2 5K loops. And every time I've run that race, I've PB'd. So I need to keep that streak going. And currently my best time there is 31:04. So I should be able to break that in 2 weeks' time.
Yep. But your 10K PB is faster than that, right? You said that recently?
So my 10K PB is 30:19, which I ran in January this year. So I think even on a bad day, I could break 31 minutes in that race. But yeah, the aim goal is to break 30. So
Yep.
I'll go out at that pace and see if I can hold on.
Only 19 seconds to go, but when you get down to those levels, every second is extremely hard. So, but I'll be checking that out. I'll be wishing you all the best for that. Where can other people follow your journey?
Yep. So Instagram is probably the best place because I try and post something every day about my training or just little tips or even little skits that about running that I do there. So it's running with Jasper is the running _ Jasper is my
I will
handle.
link it, yeah, and I'll put that on the screen. But thank you so much for giving us your time and talking to us today. Once again, congratulations for an amazing performance. Incredible. 2 sub 220s now, and I'm sure 215 is coming. Thanks a lot, Jasper.
Thanks, Adam.
Cheers.